So, welcome back to our podcast. I'm the gentleman, accompanied by the disturbed Southern Belle.
Hello.
And in this episode, we will be continuing our cryptids by state with Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maine.
Ooh.
So, starting off with Kentucky is the Pope Lick Monster.
Okay.
Which is an interesting name.
Very much so.
So, the strange part goat, part man cryptid is said to live underneath a railroad trestle bridge that is located over Pope Lick Creek in the Fisherville neighborhood of Louisiana, Kentucky. Or Louisville, sorry.
Louisville, right.
Louisville, Kentucky.
That's fine. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Half man, half a goat. That's interesting. Yep. Okay.
A good old devil.
Sure. Why not?
So, an old newspaper clipping from the Louisville Time also describes the creature as sometimes being described as half man, half sheep, some claiming that the creature is a headless man.
Oh my God. Well, that's a weird...
It's a weird jump.
Now, the half man, half goat, half man, half sheep, maybe, because...
That I can understand.
Some people could just think it was a sheep, some could think it was a goat, maybe not know the difference, whatever. And plus, they kind of look similar-ish in the face.
But if it meant the lower half, then both animals do have bowed hind legs.
They're very similar-ish, but headless?
A headless man
Sure.
is interesting.
Okay, why not?
So, most sightings do go on to describe the same type of creature, which is a goat-human hybrid that is horribly deformed with the body of a man.
Okay.
So, it's said to have legs that are covered in fur with an alabaster-skinned face. And it's supposed to have a strong, straight nose and wide set of eyes. And then protruding from its forehead are short, sharp horns that are said to be nestled in the long hair on its head, which is also the same color as the fur that covers its legs.
That's an interesting description, yeah.
So it's sounding like a devil.
Sort of. I mean, it's kind of weird sounding. It sounds like a face of a person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird. Okay.
So, there are numerous methods described as to how the monster claims its victims. Some claim that it can use hypnosis or mimic the voice of your friends and family to lure the victims onto the bridge, where they will meet their end by an oncoming train.
Oh, that is creepy, isn't it?
That is awful.
Thinking about hypnosis, it makes you think like it pulls you out there and you can't fight against it or something. It's like a mind control thing, if you think about it in that way. And that's creepy to see a train coming at you and you can't move. Oh, that's... ugh.
It's another unique thing that I can't really think of many other cryptids being able to do.
No.
At least not American cryptids.
No, not for the most part. Hypnosis is an unusual trait.
Very much so. So, others claim that the monster will actually leap down from the trestles covering the bridge onto cars that happen to be passing below.
Oh, God. That's creepy.
Very much so. Then, there are some that say that you may need to avoid a red-stained axe that the monster wields.
Oh, God. That's even worse. That's creepy. Oh, God. Imagine it's some horn thing running out at you with an axe, and it's, that is creepy.
So there are some that say that just simply witnessing the creature is terrifying enough to cause many to decide to just leap from the bridge to avoid it.
Oh my gosh. What does this thing look like? That's
apparently just absolute face of fear.
Apparently so. I mean, if it's so bad that you would literally just leap to your death and not even attempt to get away from it,
Well, to be fair, that is one way to get away from it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
unless it is the devil, then you're kind of screwed.
But that's not, normally you would try to get away, so I mean, that makes you think, well, that also makes you
normally
wonder,
the whole flight thing is to preserve your life.
Exactly. So it makes you kind of wonder, is it hypnotizing people and making them do that? Maybe.
That's possible.
That's kind of creepy to think about. But anyway.
So anyways, it's obviously said that it's best to never even attempt to walk over the bridge honestly even go near it.
No.
As you could fall victim to the fear or the hypnosis effects of the creature.
Oh, yeah. I'd say let's just stay away from that bridge. Oh, gosh.
So as for its origins, there are a few, and one legend states that the monster is that of a goat-human hybrid that was likely a circus freak that had been mistreated while in service to a circus. Which It's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
It's a common
It could be, yeah.
excuse
There
and
are, yeah,
explanation
there's
for how those
growths and
things
stuff that people
exist.
can even get on their skin that look like horns, and it's not, well, it's technically sort of horns, but not like traditional animal horns, I guess. But yeah, so possible.
So it's said that this creature actually vowed its revenge on the people who were cruel to him in the circus, which I imagine is all of them, because that's
Right.
just typical behavior,
Right.
apparently. Anyways, so he escaped by boarding a train, and this train was then said to have derailed while crossing the bridge, which allowed the creature to find that as its new home.
Hmm.
Others will disagree and claim that the monster is actually a horrifying reincarnation of a twisted farmer who is said to sacrifice goats during satanic rituals in the hopes of gaining power.
Well, he gained some, huh?
Apparently so.
Some very interesting power, apparently. Okay.
So, strangely, there are no actual reported sightings, and most believe that it only exists in myth and legend. Gee, I wonder why.
Really?
So, but as expected, the Pope-lick train trestle has become a test of bravery, so to speak. Their so-called tests, or these tests, are especially popular with children.
Of course.
They normally include daring one of the group to climb the trestle. Sadly, this has not always been just a silly rite of passage, as in the summer of 1987, a young boy was able to climb up to avoid an oncoming train. However, he fell and didn't survive.
Right.
And while children are best known for searching for the monster, there was also a death on April 23rd of 2016 when a tourist from Ohio was struck by the train while searching for the creature.
Oh my gosh.
People are stupid.
Yeah. Oh my God. Stay off this bridge. There's a train coming across it, and evidently it's not.
Better yet, just stop screwing around and just loitering around train tracks.
Yes, stay off train tracks looking for cryptids, please.
Just in general.
They just do not ever seem, it just doesn't seem to work out for a lot of people. But another interesting one anyway.
Oh, definitely.
So, crazy one.
So, moving on is the Rougarou from Louisiana. So, coming from the French words Lougarou, which means werewolf, the Rougarou is a werewolf-like creature that is said to call Louisiana its home. This legendary creature has roots in both Creole and Cajun legends and is said to roam the swamps around Louisiana as well as sugarcane fields and various woodlands around the area.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Werewolf out, alligators, I mean, who cares? You see those all the time, but werewolf, come on.
So, he's described as a fairly traditional werewolf, which, common. He's said to have a human body with the head of a dog or wolf. Some legends say that the beast is under the curse for 101 days, in which time blood is needed for nourishment. During this time, the curse is then passed from person to person when they're fed upon.
Oh, great. So it's just passing it, everybody.
Honestly, it sounds more like vampirism to me.
Sorta. But, yeah. Okay.
So, that person is said to be afflicted by the curse and will then turn human during the day, although they will be very sickly while in this form. They will then transform each night to feed for the duration of the curse. Again, vampire.
That sounds like it does.
It sounds much more like a vampire than a werewolf.
Other than they're transforming into sort of animal-like creature, but other than that, yeah.
Actually, even that, some vampires
they can
apparently
transform
can
into
do that.
wolves and stuff. I've heard of it being.
Yeah. That's actually a fairly common ability for vampires
Who said?
to have.
Yeah, maybe. Louisiana's definitely known for vampires too, so why not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So maybe.
There was even a hit TV show about it.
There you go.
Anyways, so, as imagined, those afflicted with this curse would keep it under wraps for fear of retaliation from others, which I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's not like one practice was literally to rip the heart out.
Oh, yeah. Because people are very understanding when people have afflictions that are different.
Oh, absolutely.
So, sure.
That's one of the things that the human race is most well known for.
Exactly. So you should just go out and tell your friends and family, neighbors, hey, I'm a werewolf, possibly, maybe a vampire. I don't know. Something. I gotta feed on blood anyway. Is that okay?
Or also a zombie,
Mhm.
which was the case for leprosy victims.
True.
Anyways, another legend of the creature that is often told is thought to be a more boogeyman type of story, in which children would be told that they would be hunted and killed by the Rougarou if they did not follow the rules of Lent.
Okay. Well.
And for those that don't know, Lent is a Catholic religious holiday of sorts, in which something is given up for a set period of time in remembrance of Jesus fasting for 40 days while in the desert.
No, I've heard of it. I mean, I'm not Catholic, but I have definitely heard of it. So, okay, so if you don't follow those rules, then the Rougarou will get you.
Yep.
Well,
Will hunt you down and mercilessly slaughter you.
well, I guess he's a good Catholic. That's
Yep.
an odd boogeyman for that
It is.
specifically. I mean, but okay, anyway, whatever.
So, thankfully, you can protect yourself from this beast if you lay 13 small objects by your doors.
Hmm.
Then you will be protected, and this is because once a person is transformed into a Rougarou, they're said to no longer be able to count past 12.
That's weird. Wonder why 12 specifically. But I don't know.
I wonder why that would impact their ability to
Wonder if that has
count in
something to do with,
general.
It makes me think more like the 12 apostle things or something, more tied
Yeah.
back into religious thing again or something. Maybe that
That's
might be where
probable.
where the number came. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, since it had the Catholic ties and things. But anyway, go ahead.
So, legends say that the beast will be compelled to count the objects, but will not be able to do so, correctly anyways,
Right.
which will cause them to start the process over and over until the sun rises, which won't hurt them, but it will cause them to flee and leave you in safety.
That is funny in a way.
It is weird.
That's a
You
very
don't hear
odd.
many vampire things that say they can't, like they won't be hurt by sunlight.
Right. It is kind of making you think more towards the vampiric sort of thing in some of the things it's saying, like the sunlight. I've even heard that vampires have to count things. I've heard
Yeah.
that before. Now, that's one of, like just a legend thing, but I have heard that. So,
The signs
Meh.
point more towards this being a vampire than a
sorta,
werewolf.
yeah. But anyway, whatever
Except
it
for the
is.
dog head.
Right. But
Which-
whatever it is, I guess look out for it, apparently.
Yep. So moving on from the Rougarou is the Letic, or Letic, whatever.
Right.
This is an aquatic cryptid that is often depicted as having the soul of an unbaptized child.
That's sad, sort of.
Very much so. The Letic is another creature said to prowl the state of Louisiana. The origins are as follows. One is the same as I mentioned earlier. The monsters are the souls of unbaptized children who then became cursed to prowl the unforgiving swamps of the bayou.
Mm.
The second, however, is rooted in Native American mythology.
Yeah.
In this tale, a child was taken by alligators and then raised as one of their own because, of course,
Yeah, well,
that's
yeah.
definitely something alligators are known
That's
to
something
do.
they are very known to do. So, yes, you don't have to worry about children. You can just let them roam free because alligators will take them in and raise them as their own.
And certainly not feast.
Of course.
Over time, the child went on to develop the same personality and qualities of an alligator for some reason.
Okay, that is odd.
Now, while the child did remain humanistic in that it could walk upright and had human hands and feet, the time with alligators also began to transform the child, leaving it with green-tinted skin and a set of sharp, dangerous teeth.
That makes you think maybe got stuff on its skin from being in the bayous, maybe algae and crap, maybe even dyed its skin.
Possibly.
That would make me think more like that. Now, the teeth, I don't know. Unless they just got wore down into points or something, maybe.
Possible.
I mean, I'm thinking of logical reasons why that could be. Talking about this like this is an actual child that was raised by. Oh my God, it's silly. Because, yeah, raised by alligators. But, okay, why not?
So, moving on, it said that they have one mission, and one mission alone, and that is to cause trouble on waterways. They're said to haunt the swampy areas in search of boats.
Oh, God.
And then they would then drag victims from their boats to the depths below.
Oh, great.
And also capsize, or in some cases, both.
So they just don't want boats and people in their area, huh?
Yep.
So they just, like, drown people? They don't feed on them, I guess. Well, maybe they do both. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they do, and maybe you just think maybe people think it's an alligator
it makes
attack.
Sense that they would if they were raised by alligators.
Right, so you would think it was an alligator attack, and it's actually this thing.
Yeah.
The leg. Okay, that's creepy. But anyway, it is kind of creepy to think of an alligator person out there lurking in the swamps,
Very much so.
But, yeah.
So, moving on, we're going to be going to Maine with the Serpentine Mystery, aka Wessie. So, in June 2016, in Westbrook, Maine, reports of a giant snake that was sighted in the area had many intrigued. And soon, the large snake was dubbed Wessie. And the first sightings came from a local that had claimed to have seen a snake that was over 10 feet in length, or approximately 3 meters.
Good gosh, that is a big snake.
Very much so. So they reported the snake had a head the size of a football.
Good grief.
And, scarily enough, this first reported sighting was made near a local playground.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely where you want your large snakes hanging out near the playground.
Definitely.
Yep.
So a few days later, a Westbrook police officer was able to corroborate the story, claiming that they had also spotted an unusually large snake near the riverbank. So, yay!
Yeah, so somebody actually went out and... Oh, my goodness.
And of all people, a police officer.
Right.
So, as one can imagine, speculations of the origins of this unusual creature ran rampant.
Oh, sure.
Was it simply an unknown breed of snake, like a Burmese python that it's escaped or been released into the wild? Or was it something more, perhaps something more supernatural? Or maybe it was just a native breed that we know of that just grew a bit too big.
Mm-hmm. Possible. I mean, any of those theories, well, other than maybe the supernatural one, sure.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Sure.
So, in August of 2016, another discovery was made that only added fuel to the fire, as an enormous snake skin was found in the Westbrook area.
Oh, God.
However, it was later determined to belong to a Burmese python.
So there really was a big snake in the area, though, that people were...
At the very least, yes. So, the skin that was found was over 10 feet in length, which suggested that the snake could have been as much as 16 in actual length.
Oh, gosh.
Or roughly 4.8 meters.
That is a big snake.
That is a massive snake. This led many to believe that Wessie was just an exotic pet that had escaped or been released. However, some still believed that there may be another larger snake in the area, and this discovery was merely a coincidence and not the true Wessie. Sadly, there haven't been any further discoveries that put much in the form of proof of that theory. But whether it was just an escaped pet or something more, it was sure a strange sight for the folks of Westbrook.
I guess so. Good grief. I mean, I wouldn't expect to be seeing any 16-foot snake.
Oh, absolutely not.
Slithering around here. Now, we get some pretty big ones, sure. But good God, with the head of a size of the football, ooh, that's...
And potentially 16 feet in length.
Yeah, I'm not a gigantic snake fan anyway. I mean, I don't have anything against them per se, but I don't want them near me or whatever, and no thank you.
Absolutely not. So, moving on from Wessie is our final cryptid, the Specter Moose. So, heading into the dense woods of Maine, there's said to be a ghostly albino moose that roams the forests.
Well, that's very interesting.
Very much so. I don't think I've ever heard of a cryptid moose.
No.
Much less an albino moose.
No, I have not either.
Albino cryptid moose.
No. You don't really hear about a lot of the animals, they're not animals. You know what I'm saying? No. They're like a depiction of two mutated animals or a human-animal hybrid. So, yeah, for it to actually look like an actual moose, that's creepy. Okay.
So, those that have witnessed this elusive beast state that it is not like any other they have encountered. They describe an absolutely enormous bull moose, and obviously completely white. So, those that have seen it say it stands at least 8 feet tall with a rack of antlers that span at least 15.
Good gosh.
This would be roughly 2.5 meters tall with a rack spanning roughly 4.5 meters.
Good God, that is a big moose.
That is a massive moose.
Okay.
So, there are several that claim the beast to be bulletproof, which has led to people to believe the monster has a supernatural tie. A lumberjack by the name of Robert Gunderson claimed to have seen the moose in the early 1900s. He described a massive bull moose that had fur as long as the snowcaps, or fur as white as the snowcaps, my bad. He reported that he then unloaded his rifle into the beast, who in turn barely flinched before turning and just walking off into the trees without a sound.
That is spooky. But it didn't hurt him. So
that is also rare.
That's rare. So that's
especially considering that moose are not very peaceful creatures.
Not necessarily. I mean, they will, attack or
they will
something.
Straight up gore someone.
So that makes you wonder if it is maybe some supernatural thing, then not making a sound, one, and then two, just kind of turning and walking off after you unload, which, I mean, I don't know how many shots he shot at it, even just one. I mean, if he hit it, it would probably not be happy about it.
Probably not.
But,
no.
Okay.
Unless it just didn't feel it.
Maybe.
Because it said it didn't even flinch.
Well, maybe he didn't even hit it. I mean, who knows?
So, as for some potential origin, there are some legends of a moose god known as Paloma that is said to inhabit that area. But most depictions of the god don't actually align completely with the descriptions of the Specter Moose.
So, we don't know what it is then.
Not really. The closest thing would be Paloma. Of previously known entities.
But people are saying they see it. Which, I mean, I'm not going to say that you couldn't see an albino moose. I mean, they say that they can happen in anything, and I've seen them in, deers and stuff. Pictures, not like, I've never actually seen one in real life.
No, it is incredibly rare to see an albino anything.
Right. I mean, they're rare. It's very rare, but that makes me think maybe that might be what happened, and maybe it just survived because it's kind of snowy up there and it kind of just blended. So it might have actually worked in its favor.
Very possible, yeah.
For hunting and stuff, but very cool. Some very interesting cryptids, definitely.
Very much so. So that's going to be it for this episode. Let us know what you think. And since we're nearing the end of our cryptid and the bells series, let us know what you think we should cover next. We do value your opinions, so I'll now turn it over to the Bell so she can tell you about her next episode.
So we'll be continuing on with our travel across the U.S. and looking at some of the more haunted areas. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and don't forget to stay disturbed.